Hey guys, what is up, DCS Crew? Today we're going to talk about one of the most sought after knives in its price range. The company's been around for about 2 years. I had the opportunity of meeting Joseph when he had, or the owner of the company, his name is Joseph, when he had his first working prototype at Blade Show. And this was back in Blade 2019. I had the opportunity to sit down with him and talk to him a little bit about it. I told him I would meet him at the pit, and I'm not gonna lie, I probably drank too much. I got drunk and I totally forgot about it and I missed him. And I'm kicking myself in the butt because it wasn't until, a few months back that I actually got to pick up a knife of his. But in any case, I'm really glad I did because this is a kick-ass knife. This is the Synapse Gen 2 from none other than Vero Engineering. So what do I think about this knife? Well, I'm gonna just go ahead and give you a little teaser. I like it, and find out why after the intro. Ladies and gents, thank you so much for tuning in. Let me get this out of the way and get this going. So when I do the specs on this, I'm gonna have to put it here on the side because of the fact that I don't have, just a website where I can go and view it. So I'm going to type that out manually. It will be on this side. Okay. So I will talk about that. Now, a little about the owner, Joseph, super nice guy. Number one, had his first table and great showing at Blade Show 2021, which I did do a video, and I will go ahead and put that at the end of this one. And aside from that, I learned actually that he's a mechanical engineer, and he designs drones during the day, and then he does this stuff at night. His wife, his family, has been, behind him throughout his entire journey, while he's doing the knives and stuff like that. They've been very supportive. Super nice group of people. Very, very nice to meet them. And I thought it was really cool, like to see his company grow from basically grassroots to what it is now. This is one of these knives that when you pick up, you will see the similarity in design throughout his catalog. So whether it's the Neuron, the Axon, the Synapse, or one of the many other knives that he has, you're going to see a very, very similar look to this one. Now, maybe the blade shape's a little bit different, maybe the handles are a little bit different, maybe the color is a little bit different, but this is one of those knives that, first off, it's a bolster lock knife. So when I say bolster lock knife, there is the inlay right here for the scales, and then like a very slim kind of liner lock on this side. But in the truth, it's considered a bolster lock because it's sandwiched behind the bolsters, which are right here, these inlays, which in this case are micarta. I believe they make them in G10, and they got a couple of other ones. I mean, there's a lot of overlays that you can go ahead and change these with, and they're interchangeable. You can get the blade in several blade finishes. I like to use my knives, so I just prefer, stonewash finish. I like the fact that it's not reflective, and plus, when you use it, when you sharpen it and stuff like that, it's gonna hide the scratches, a little bit less. It's not really the scratches from use I'm scared about showing. It's really more the scratches from my rudimentary understanding of the KME knife sharpener. So I am not somebody who uses stones to sharpen knives, and I will never profess to be. But speaking of knives and sharp knives, let's go ahead and show a couple of other knives that are around the table, just to kind of give it a a specs as far as what size is concerned. This is the Kopesh from Battle Runner Systems, probably the largest knife that I've reviewed in a long time. And speaking of it, you know what? I'm gonna put it down here because I did say in another video that I was gonna stop putting this at the bottom. But this is one of the smaller knives that I have yet to review, and I should be. This is the Little Main Street from Dirk Pinkerton. Dirk Pinkerton designed Little Main Street from Concept Knives. This one here is the Spyderco Para 3, USA made, S30V steel. Very well done. Still one of my staples in my standard EDC rotation whenever I am not reviewing knives. This is the Dylan Mallory Centros from CJRB Knives, which, by the way, he does have his first OEM coming out. That is the Forest. Be sure to check it out because I did order one. I am going to get one soon, so you will be seeing that once they are available. I was order number 4, by the way. And here is the Kershaw Bare Knuckle 14C28N. USA made blade. Really, really, really good quality knife. We have the Kaiser Rogue, which is about its size actually. Yeah, it's very EDCable as far as size is concerned. Maybe it's a little slimmer than the Rogue, but it is definitely very similar in size. Did I show this one already? No, I didn't. This is the Sog Terminus Xr, another one that's very close to its size. So as you can see, you're kind of getting a little bit more of an understanding about size with this one. This is kind of like more of the 4-inch handle, 3-inch blade type of knives, you know, and they have a mini Synapse that just released too, so keep that in mind. This one's a little bit smaller. That is the CJRB small feldspar in D2 with jade or natural G10. So moving on, let's go ahead and talk about the pros that I like about this. So you do have a low profile, okay, flipper tab. Now, what I mean by that is when you close this up, the flipper tab is right there. You're not going to feel it in your pocket. In fact, let me show you what it looks like in the pocket, damn it. I keep forgetting this. Okay, so ye old shorts that have been cut up to be able to go ahead and show off what the knife looks like in the pocket. I mean, there it is. It's a nice clip. It's been stonewashed, so it's non-reflective. As you can see in the light, it doesn't reflect very much because it is indeed stonewashed. And it does have the Vero V. And if you look closely, you can actually see that it says ERO inside, which means V-E-R-O, Vero Engineering. There you go. So that's how it's going to look in the pocket. It actually doesn't hide too bad. I think that the pocket clip itself is very aesthetically, you know, pleasing. He did put a lot of work into this particular knife. Now, as far as what it is set to carry for, keep in mind, because of the lock and the clip, it is not tipped for right-hand carry. And if it was, left-hand carry, and if it was, they would have to adjust the clip, because this isn't the same type of clip you would be able to use on this side because of the fact that it has this slant. It would kind of like work this way. It just wouldn't look right. So keep that in mind. I believe he has a left-handed version. I could be wrong, but just keep that in mind. For now, I am a righty, and that's why I picked this one up. I don't have problems with it, but your mileage may vary if you are a lefty. Now, that's one pro to consider. There is this flipper tab. Now, if you're not a fan of the flipper tab, but you like to finger flick things, you see that little cutout inside of the blade on that side? That doesn't seem to be cut out on the other side. That's because this little part here, okay, has been set up to be a thumb hole, okay? So if you want to go ahead and flick it out that way instead of using the flipper tab, keep in mind the flipper tab is very unobtrusive. You're not going to have to worry about that, and it is nice and shrouded out. But if you have like thick fingers and you got problems fumbling with that, you could actually just take, you know, the back, that little hole back here, or that little square that's been milled into the blade, and you can open it up. Now, one thing I will say that is another pro that I really like about it, you're not going to have any writing. It's a sterile blade on both the the show side and the clip side. They do have this cutout here, and you do have the Vero insignia up here, just like you would have. Let me see if I can put it there. There you go. You do have the Vero insignia here, just like you would have, you know, some type of indication that it's a Vero knife on the clip. But the only other thing you have other than that is right here where the knife actually catches. Okay, you'll see that right here is a sequence of numbers. That is the version that came off of the factory floor. Mine is number 539. I know he sold way more than 539 synapses because people are still trying to grab these things like crazy. This particular version is the black micarta version. I do know that they make other ones, and it does come a lot lighter than this. It's just patinaed quite a bit because I've been keeping this in my pocket, and it's hotter than all hell this summer. So great thing about it, you know, it's got that M390 steel. M390, especially in the summer, is great when you're in a humid area like Georgia, you know, and things can get corroded very easily. I actually experienced some corrosion for the first time. I saw little rust marks and stuff right here in the pivot area, and I mean, I cleaned it off obviously on the centrals, but I've seen no such thing with the Synapse, so that's great. Okay, so you know, I love the low profile clipper tab and the flipper tab. I love that it has this little cutout, and when you hold the knife, because of the way that the flipper tab is set, if you look at some other knives that have flipper tabs, like say for example this one right here, when it deploys, when it deploys, okay, it has a little bit like, it's almost like a beaver tail on a gun where it sticks out. And then when you hold it, it kind of like stops your hand. But the problem with that is that you miss out on all this other real estate, you know, for the knife. Now, in this particular cutout and scenario, you have the design that has been done such to where when it is deployed, it sits, the flipper tab sits flush over on this side, and I'll go ahead and show it again. Okay, here's the flipper tab, and which, by the way, that's the part where the number is. If you go ahead and you flip it, because there is a small amount of jimping there, which, by the way, very good attention to detail. You flip it, and then you have the opportunity to go ahead and use it this way. Just, you know, put your thumb here on the jimping and just keep your hand underneath this area where the flipper tab would be, or you can choke up a little bit more. Okay, and you can use this area, and you can use 100% of the real estate on the handle, which is great because 95% of the knives in the knife community cannot do that. I mean, you know, you do have knives like this big dude right here, which allows you to be able to use all of it, okay? But that's because it doesn't have a flipper, it doesn't have a thumb stud, it's just like the thumb hole, okay? Let me see the Spyderco. Now, what they have done to be able to go and use that, they've actually put some jimping up here, and you sacrifice a little bit of the blade length to allow some of this jimping, and then this little tab here to keep you from touching the blade, but you do get access to the handle. So you do get a small number of knives that allow you to be able to use as much of the handle as you can, but this one does it in a way to where it doesn't have a thumb stud, it does have a flipper tab, and it does have the this hole in the back, there we go, thirds of times the charm, and it allows you to be able to go ahead and use 100% of, the purchase, the scale for better purchasing your hand in different hand configurations, whether it's, using the knife like this, using the knife like this, whatever it is, okay? So I really do like that about this particular knife. Also, let's talk about the size. Now, the size itself, you're looking at a blade length of just over 3.2 inches. Okay, so it is still pretty small. You have a closed length, okay, which is basically the handle length of just over 4 inches. So it's like 4.1 inches. In total, you're looking at just under 7.4 inches overall, okay? So it's not quite the 4-inch blade and the 3-inch handle, which sucks because you are taking this particular style and model away from people who live in a state where they're restricted to blades that are 3 inches and under in blade length. But he did come out with a Synapse Mini, or mini Synapse, depending on what it's called, and that does allow more states to be able to use this. This does run on bearings, like I said before. It's stonewashed M390 steel. This is stonewashed titanium. As far as the torques, now I haven't checked, but this is a T8, and this over here is a T6. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and check on camera live real quick. So right here, the lock bar, okay, that is a T8. Okay, that is a T8. This, holy crap, it's a T8. Okay, and then, oh shoot, okay, so, all right, we got a winner here, folks. I'm gonna put the T6 away. This guy right here can be completely disassembled with your boy, Mr. T8 right here. And let me just go ahead and show that up. Come on, there we go. There we go, all right. T8 up in your face. There we go. All right, so back to this. Now, as for the Synapse Gen 2, I mean, there's a lot to really like about it. One thing that a lot of people are kind of, hard on about it, I guess you can say, is that the design has a lot of elements that are similar to another knife that's out there. And it wouldn't be a problem if he was the maker of that other knife, but said knife is not something that is, typically seen very much in the knife community because it's usually made in small batches, and it's from Custom Knife Factory. It's CKF, and that is and I apologize, I'm gonna go ahead and put the picture right over here so you can see it and see how it compares to this one. It's the Custom Knife Factory FIF20 or the FIF20 or whatever, plead the fifth. So you can see some similarities, but I mean, last time I checked, I can't get a FIF20 in, my Carta. I can't get it in G10. And I mean, I don't know about the other upgrades and stuff, like Timascus or the satin blade as opposed to the stonewash blade, that sort of thing. I really don't know the ins and out of the FIF20. I do know what I can get with, Vero Engineering's Synapse in particular the Synapse Gen 2, which is what this is. And I like the fact that I'm supporting a small company that's really, growing in size, because it's like they've taken this design and they've incorporated it into a lot of different subsidiary designs, and they've created a non-locking one, they've created a frame lock version, they've created, blacked out, smaller versions, bigger versions, and he's really doing something with the design. It's not like he came out with a one-off design and that's what it is. It's what you're gonna get. You may get a couple of versions of it, but that's it. He actually came out with a lineup tweaking the design to where it genuinely feels as if this was his design. And in truth, it is. I mean, the guy's an engineer. He knew how to be able to do this. There's a lot of subtle details that have been put into this knife, and a lot of just small details that would get overlooked by somebody just getting it and reviewing it rather than just kind of pocketing it, using it and being able to speak his mind like I am. Okay. So that being said, there are a couple of things that I just want to, point out. For some people, and this is going to be a bit of a con when I go back to the shrouded flipper tab, for people with chunky hands, or for some people that really want something that's a little bit longer, they don't want quite a pocket pecker, but they want a longer flipper tab. This is going to be a little bit too shrouded for them. It's a little small for some people, and I mean, for me, I like it. I haven't had an issue with it so far, and if I ever have an issue, for freak's sake, I'll just use the freaking, the little hole that's etched into the other side of the blade, literally, I mean, whatever. But it's pedantic, but it is a con that I do want to go ahead and talk about, and then there was a little bit of an issue that I had with the fact that, where the lock is, okay, you do have this little area of material, and I'll see if I can show it. Let me see here. Let me see if I can get it. Come on. There we go. You have this little material right here that can get a little sharp. Okay. But the truth is, it's really one of those situations where you're not really going to be feeling that area too much. I mean, you're going to open it. You're going to use the lock to be able to go ahead and close it. And that's that. It's not something you run into often, so it can be easily overlooked. Okay, the action on this is fantastic. I've had no issues whatsoever, and I have no qualms recommending this to somebody. Now, is it worth buying? Well, if you're used to buying knives over $200 and don't have a problem with it being made outside of the US, yes, I'd say buy it. Buy it or even on the secondary and get yourself one of these in the hands. In fact, I don't recommend buying it on the secondary. Buy it from Vero Engineering directly, and if you can see them at a trade show, even better. Maybe you can get a discount. I don't know. But I will say the biggest issue with this is that it comes out in small batches, and when you're going to buy it on the secondary market, you better prepare to pay for an upcharge, that convenience charge of being able to get it there and not via Vero Engineering, because I mean, in all honesty, these things sell very quickly. He has a very devoted base in Facebook. His followers on Instagram, are awesome. He engages with them. He goes on lives. He's really proud of his work, and I really like that about Joseph. I can't take that away from him, and I really kick myself for not having owned one of these, previously. But I did get one. I spoke to him personally over at Blade, and I picked one up for myself, and I'm like, freaking A, finally I got one. I set out making sure I got at least 2 good knives, and in my opinion, this is a good knife. I felt like this was a good knife. Now, is it worth the price? That is completely relative to the person that's buying it and how much they purchase knives at this level and what they think that this is worth. I mean, at the end of the day, somebody could hate this and say that this is a barrel of baby dog shit for all I know. I don't give a fuck, because this is my knife and I happen to like it. And I will tell you, it's going to be very hard for me to sell it. Now, you can try and get me to sell this, but it's probably not going to happen. I'm just telling you guys right now, it's probably not going to happen, because I happen to like this knife quite a bit. Okay, so I'll just keep it at that. Now, closing statements about this knife. Would I buy it again if I didn't have it, but I had the money? Yes, I would. Would I buy this version? Yes, I would. They do come with really nice, flashier looking versions, but I like to use my knives, and I thought that this was the perfect variant that I wanted to get. And he had a lot of different ones. He had stuff with Damascus, he had other versions, he had stuff that wasn't even out yet. And I picked this one out, and I'm glad that I did. Would I recommend this to somebody? Yes. The profile on this particular blade, it's very nice and EDCable. It's great if you want something different. You're going to use this as an everyday carry. It's just big enough to be able to get everything you need to have done. It's easy enough to be able to take down. You have T8 screws everywhere. You have this the shrouded pocket clip, in which case what I would assume it is that you remove this, and then when you remove it, there's going to be 2 screws in the back that screw in from the scale into the pocket clip, because I don't see any through here. Either that or this screw goes all the way through, or this screw goes all the way through and it connects to this one, so it's like one mandingo of a freaking screw in length. But I mean, in truth, I think this is a really good knife, and I hate to be gushing about it, you know, because I know I've hit close to the 20 minute mark on this already, but yeah, this is a knife that's going to be staying in my collection. So simply put, you know, would I buy from Vero Knives? Yes. Have I bought? Yes, because I purchased this one outright. It's not something that was sent to me. I purchased this outright, so I'm going to be a little bit more critical on a review on something that I spent my hard-earned money on, and I feel that this is something that was worth purchasing, and I feel okay with purchasing it. It's a moral decision that I chose, and you know, I went that way, and I enjoy it. I don't feel bad picking this one up. And would I do it again? Yes. So those are my 2 cents, or 20 minutes and 2 cents. If you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and comment below. Let me know if you happen to have a Vero Engineering blade. If you have any of their models, feel free to go ahead and speak below. If you have any questions about it, feel free to comment below. If this is your first time watching a video, congratulations, you made it to DCS. Now hit that subscribe button and hit that bell, so next time I upload something, you have an opportunity to go ahead and get first dibs on checking it out and being first in the comments as usual. So here are some videos for you to check out, and in the meantime, guys, you take care, and remember, if you EDC, even if it's a Vero Engineering knife of another model, if you EDC, think of DCS. You have been great. So has this knife. I'll see you next time. Peace.